What a week it has been, marred by extreme volatility, at least on Thursday and Friday, a dip of 1%, and the banks were really all over the place. A big expose, and that led the Bank Nifty fall a good 3%, with the Nifty closing in sub the 5,900 mark on Friday. Barring FMCG, perhaps there was no shade of green for the market. The FMCG index, though, managed to gain about 1.5%, and perhaps to some extent pharmaceuticals as well. Real estate, IT, oil and gas, power, metals, autos, you name it, and it was all in the red. Amongst individual movers, Bajaj Auto was at the bottom of the heap. Remember, the week didn't augur too well for the entire rate-sensitive basket. Not just banks, but real estate as well as autos too faced the heat in terms of a big question mark. What's the RBI going to do come Tuesday? So yes, Bajaj Auto was a significant loser, 8.2% cut coming in. ICICI Bank, Hindalco, GAIL, JP Associates, Axis Bank, BHEL, Kane, Tata Motors and Bharti were all your laggards in trade. Asian Paints, M&M and Unilever perhaps were the only ticks of green, and lots of losers when it came to the broader markets too. Not as much mid-caps, but small caps really took it on the chin. A good 2.5% cut coming in this week as well. Let's analyze then the week gone by and the week ahead. CK Narayan and Prakash Kaba join me on board to analyze just that. Prakash, your analysis of the markets, and what trade would you look to execute on Monday, considering we have the big policy event on Tuesday lined up?
Well, when I look at the market in the upper regions, there's tremendous selling pressure. We did see last week in 5 trading sessions or 4 trading sessions a move of around 300 points. To me, the 300 point looks more like a reactive up move, which basically means it's gone up, but it's gone up to count down. So unless the market crosses these levels of around 5,960 or so with force, we must assume that up move that we have seen is more of a reactive up move, and possibly what we could see is some kind of a sideways move to a bearish bias move. So I would say that market is finding resistance in the upper regions, but there is a slight on the way down.
Prakash, after the weakness that we've seen in ICICI Bank, HDFC as well as Axis, would you look to execute fresh shorts come Monday morning on these names?
Yes, I think that looks perhaps the case, because structurally when don't see any strength in any of the banks, perhaps except for State Bank of India, where we feel that there could be some up move. But if you just take the State Bank of India out, then I think most of the banks are certainly looking weak. ICICI Bank can slide down to levels perhaps closer to around 1,040 or so. As far as HDFC is concerned, it's typically sideways, but it's not going up unless it crosses 660. But as far as when I look at Axis Bank, even Axis Bank is looking weak. So I would say most of the banks certainly are looking weak, barring except for State Bank of India, which could see an uptick.
While you've chosen to, recommend shorts on Axis, HDFC, as well as ICICI Bank, would that be the same strategy for the Bank Nifty as well, which has collapsed nearly 3% this week? Yeah,
I think banks, I would say that one can continue holding shorts as long as I think 12,300 on the upside holds, but that's a stiff resistance zone to work with. On the downside, we could get some money on the downside, but 12,300 on the Bank Nifty is a stiff resistance to work with.
Prakash, your take on names like NALCO and SAIL?
As far as National Aluminium is concerned, the way it's broken down, looks like there's much more downside here. Actually, it's broken down with a gap at around 43 zones. So I would say that NALCO we can see levels closer to around 36 or 37 in the days to come. As far as SAIL is concerned, SAIL too is looking weak. It's not looking strong after it's broken down the levels of around 75. Looks like give some time and space, SAIL should slide to levels closer to around 62 zones. So there's some more downside in SAIL as well as in NALCO.
Prakash, the other weak pocket was autos, with Bajaj Auto tumbling more than 8%. Again, pile up fresh shorts come Monday morning?
Yeah, there's some kind of a diversion between Bajaj Auto and Hero Motors. Bajaj Auto is certainly looking weak to me. The way after it's broken down the levels of 1930, and above 1930 is from some kind of a classical reversal pattern, which looks like it should slide down to levels closer to around 1750 or 1760 zones. So it gives the feeling that there is some downside in Bajaj Auto, but there is some kind of a diversion with Hero Motors, which is trying to hold out. I would say the crucial level to watch in Hero Motors 1850 among the two-wheelers. That goes, even that could go in for a deep cut.
Well, there were some pockets of strength as well. Pharma, FMCG and IT to an extent as well. Some individual names held out. And then, of course, you had stars as well all of last week. Asian Paints made stupendous moves, was hitting fresh high after fresh high. M&M held out, and so was the case with Unilever too. Prakash, what happens to names which are in blue sky territory like an Asian Paints?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the name, please, if you don't mind.
Asian Paints.
Asian Paints, yeah, that's a low volume stock. It's been doing quite well since the past few weeks or so. And I would say that after it broke out from 4,600, the logical target on Asian Paints was 5,000. Now it's trading close to that. There is no sign of weakness, but in the short term indicators, when I look at it, it gives me a feeling that it's stretched out. But when I stretch the time frame, I think still looks good. Only thing is someone is holding Asian Paints, continue holding it with a stop below 4,880 or 4,900. I think we can see some more upside in Asian Paints. As long as it says I'm turning down, I think we must continue holding Asian Paints. Still looks good.
What trades to execute come Monday morning? Let's bring in CK Narayan to chat about his ideas. CK, your trading calls for Monday?
Well, I'm still seeing that there would be some amount of pressure on the market, so I'm actually recommending two shorts for the week. First is in Sun TV, which has had a decent run, but this looks like a rally which has fizzled out. 446 to 450 is where it is trading at. Recommend a short at this level, about 6 to 7 rupees as the stop loss, and looking for a target around 425 during the week. Second short would be on DLF, which again I see most real estate names under pressure. I think their rally seems to be completed. 275, 280 is where it is trading at. Shorted in this region with a stop at about 285. I would look for a price target around 260 during the week.
CK, what about the Bank Nifty? Would you go short on Monday morning ahead of the big event on Tuesday?
Well, I think, see, these events are always tricky, but the way the prices are actually, trying to shape up, I don't think the market is really having too much expectations, or at best, I think a 25 bips cut is already being priced in. So I don't really expect the event, unless it's something dramatic, to significantly change trends. So yes, I would definitely venture with a short. I would not want to take my chances with a bullish position at all. So if the market is weak, yes, even now at 11,900, I would choose to short the Bank Nifty for at least a 200 to 300 point fall.
Prakash, what about your trading calls for Monday morning?
I'm tempted to give also two shorting candidates, starting with DLF. It's certainly looking weak to me. It's got tired and exhausted in the upper regions. I would have a stop about 285 or so and expect it to slide to levels at least to around 260 zones. If it breaks 260, can even go further than that. So DLF is a good shorting candidate. Second shorting candidate I like is Yes Bank. It's fallen down and somehow it could not sustain up yesterday. So today it's again fallen back. I would say that Yes Bank is looking weak and can slide to levels closer to around 452. I would have a stop which is slightly deeper though at 488 and trade the short side on Yes Bank. So I would like to short next week two stocks, DLF and Yes Bank.
Prakash, what about your Nifty strategy?
Well, Nifty I would like to stay short. As long as this 5980 is not taken out on the upside, any rallies that we may get, I think those would be shorting opportunities. I expect that maybe we could see Nifty slide down to levels for Monday to at least 5840. But during the week, I still see some more weakness coming in. So Nifty is a short.
Okay, Prakash and CK, good to have you guys on board with us. Let you go on that note.